My goodness, Jake. 10-1 beatdown. Game one. Coming in, guys, I think everyone said this. Literally every person ever that was a Yankees fan, at least. We have 2 games on the road. Their ace, Kevin Gausman, he slates for the opener. They earned that, right? They beat us in the season series. They win the division with the same amount of wins, 94 wins. So they've got their ace. And the Yankees, on the other hand, had Luis Gil. The Yankees he's a highly talented, flawed arm. I mean, Jake, I think that's the way you would call it. He's a flawed pitcher. It wasn't a foolproof choice. It just wasn't. I thought it was the right choice going with Gil in this game, but neither was the alternative. And the alternative probably, Jake, was Will Warren, right? Kevin Gausman did his job, 5 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks and 3 Ks. I mean, he wasn't really missing bats at a high clip, but he was executing his pitches and making outs. That's his job. Luis Gil, on the other hand, didn't do his job. That was just, it was sort of what the Yankees, when you listen to the Yankees brass of what they've said about Gil, they didn't trust him in 2024 to take the mound at all in October. And they still sounded very hesitant. I mean, we listened to what Jack Curry had to say. Very hesitant about pitching Gil. Maybe this was why, right? 2 2/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. Tim Hill and Doval were actually the first out the pen, 3 1/3, scoreless. They did their jobs. That's not who we were expecting to see today. And then that guy that isn't, in my opinion, Jake, this is just my take. I'll see, of course, very soon here what you think. I don't think he's worth a roster spot at this point. Got on the mound and turned this game into a laugher, and that is Luke Weaver. 2 hits, 3 runs surrendered. Luke Weaver, or as the kids call him in our podcast, in our comment section, they call him Fluke Weaver. Jake, you've been really liking that.
I like it.
He has not recorded a single out this postseason. Cruz and Paul Blackburn got into the party. They surrendered runs themselves. We didn't care about that. The game was a laugher at that point. It was a waste of time. But Jake, I want to get to what I thought was a turning point of this game. And I know the other stuff was very important. But the top of the 6th inning where the Yankees loaded the bases, right? And that's a good job doing that, right? Creating a threat. Awesome. Aaron Judge, who we believe should be the AL MVP. Jake, you mentioned pre-show, he's hitting 400, following this game. He's getting his hits. He had another 2 knocks tonight. I mean, that's really good. But in that situation, with bases loaded, nobody out, against the starter, and this is Kevin Gausman. This isn't one of the game's best pitchers. This is a good arm, not elite. And you don't come through in that situation, devastating for the Yankees, for their chances. I thought it was a joke. Then Ben Rice, he steps in, following Belly's walk, right, which scored quite literally our only run tonight. Ben Rice pops out to third base against, again, the starter, who, right-handed starter, that's what he's supposed to do well. Unproductive out. We don't score. It was a 2-1 game at that point. It totally changed the feeling of this game. Toronto then brings in Varland. Jake, we were just talking about this. The flamethrower, he blows Giancarlo away. I mean, you mentioned what those swings look like from Stanton. We're going to get into, he's our topic tonight. We'll get into that. It ends our threat right then and there. And guys, of course, if you're just joining us, please be sure to subscribe and like this video. Liking the video is the best way you can support the channel. And of course, guys, we have to give Kirk, I know, Jake, you probably don't want to, but we've got to give Kirk his credit. Homered twice tonight. Had a rough September. Vladdy Jr. set the tone, hitting a home run in the first inning off Gil. But Jake, our prompt. Can the Yankees win without playoff Stanton? Well, probably not, right? I would say that we need one of our best players to play like one of our best players. But I would say the Yankees can't win without a consistent offense with runners on base, right? I just think right now, given what we did offensively in that key pivotal inning, it kind of set us up where we had to blow all of our best arms, right? You bring in Williams, you bring in Bednar. Are we going to do that to preserve a game that's 2-1 going into a game 2, or do we just go with our low leverage guys? So, Jake, how are we feeling? Because I know you are not happy with some of these Giancarlo Stanton at bats, and this dates back to the beginning of the wild card.
Yeah, I think obviously people are going to go in on Judge, and rightfully so. And look, I'm right there with you, but at the same time, bases loaded, he's fighting, right? He takes it to 8 or 9 pitches, which, by the way, is something that the leadoff hitter should be doing, but that's a whole other discussion. Anyway, Stanton is getting blown by, and it's not even close. And right now, Gary, he's hitting .067. He's got a 125 on base and a 133 slugging. Here's why I'm so frustrated about Stanton's play. Not that I expected playoff Stanton to just emerge. Not that I expected him to come out and hit grand slams left and right, whatever, right? No. But I expected more than .067. The problem right now is that it's a double whammy. Why? Because Aaron Judge is banged up, okay? He just is. So because of that, you look at the VAR show advance to third, great example. They even bring it up. Joe Davis says a not healthy, or however he worded it, Aaron Judge, he takes advantage of it and moves to third. Aaron Judge doesn't have the arm that he normally has, one, and two, a right fielder who normally has the strongest arm in the outfield should have. Mm-hmm. So the issue right now is that it's a double whammy because he has to be out there because Stanton can't play out there, and Stanton has to be DH because he's Stanton by name. But if he's not hitting, you have a DH that isn't a designated hitter that isn't hitting. And now you can't put Aaron Judge at designated hitter because you're going to play Stanton every single day. And it's a problem, man. It's an absolute problem. So he needs to step up because this hurts twice. You see it in the field defensively. Margin for error is about as slim as it gets in the postseason. Well, now you have a liability out in right field with the arm, and that's a problem.
How long can this go on, by the way? Because I was frustrated about those Stanton at bats. I didn't know how bad it was, and really the only thing I can remember is Stanton hitting that missile that he thought was gone off the left center wall in that Boston series. But when I'm looking up, it really begs the question, and we talked about this before you hit the live button here, is what does this mean for Jason Dominguez, right? And I'm not here to clamor that he should play or that he's worthy of starting in these postseason games, and perhaps he is, maybe. But I guess that's my question is, how far down the road do we have to go with Giancarlo Stanton not producing? Because we're not trying to sell anyone that we're to this point, Stanton cannot figure this out. It can't happen. We're not telling you that. We're just telling you that when you've got a designated hitter, Jake, as you just put it, your DH isn't hitting, he's designated to hit. And if he's not going to hit, and we've got an ailing dude out in right field who's our best player, well, we're really screwing this up on both sides of the fence. Like, we've got to figure this out one way or the other. And if Stan's not going to hit, then we might as well take Aaron Judge from right field and put somebody out there that can make the throws. But I have a feeling, Jake, I've got a feeling that in order for this to happen, it would have to be a promotion for Jason Dominguez. And I don't know how the room feels about it. You're talking about not just what can he do with the bat, not what can he do with his legs, because those are positives for J-Dom. They just are. But one thing that is a problem for J-Dom, and I won't call him the Martian, I refuse until he starts playing like an alien, is the glove. Is he a DH? Because now you still have the same issue with Judge still out in right field ailing. Now it turns into him in right field. What does that defense look like in games that we expect to be very close? I know we thought game one was winnable, but we expected this to be a real dogfight, a tough game to win. Game two is where we really thought we had our opportunity. Jake, do you consider Jason Dominguez starting in game two? Would you consider that if you're managing?
I would absolutely consider it. Right now, Stanton is struggling. Judge, I think Judge would benefit from having a day off. I do. You put Stanton in left field, which he's played. I personally think he should have been playing right, but you definitely don't be like, yeah, you're going to play right field now, even though you've never played it before in the big leagues. So you put him in left field. You live with what you live with, right? And then you have Bellinger. And now I feel like you become a better team because defensively anyway, because now you have a really strong arm in Bellinger out and right. Whereas, Judge right now is not even close to strong. And that's just, he's going to get that fixed in the offseason. He can still play, but you know what you're dealing with when it comes to that. And right now, I just feel like that's the problem. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that, Jason Dominguez has seen tons of splitters, right? Not. But he is hitting 250 against them with an expected batting average of 292. And we're going to see a lot of splitters tomorrow because, once again, they load the top of their rotation with splitter ball pitchers. We just saw it today with Gausman. Well, here's the deal. Stanton, again, split-fingered this year, 182 with an expected batting average of 097. He doesn't hit splitters well. If you were going to give Stanton a day and you were going to go with, Jason Dominguez, this would be the day to do it. Because Dominguez, while he hasn't seen a million splitters, he's seen almost 100, and he's hitting 250 with an expected batting average closer to 300, whereas Stanton is not even 100 on the expected batting average, and he's hitting 182.
You could also argue that with a rookie on the mound for Toronto, and by the way, this kid's highly talented. So just the same way we were talking about Cam Schlittler, and we were saying, guys, look, I know it's a rookie, highly capable, and then the world saw what that looked like. Savage is going to go out there, I would argue, bringing speed as another element to your offense is actually probably a better attack against a young pitcher. Having to hold runners on in important games. I get it. If I was the opposing team, I'm just as scared of Giancarlo flipping that switch as the next team because we've seen the switch flip on. Guys, that's why he's playing. It's not because of his stats right now. It's because of what he did in 2020, what he did in 2024, what he did in 2021, right? It's not just 1 or 2 years. He's been consistently the Yankees' best bat in October. So they're trying to go back to the well, and right now it's dried up. And it's creating problems not just in his individual position, it's creating problems also for Aaron Judge. Now, I'm not just going to absolve Aaron Judge of responsibility for how he's performing in clutch situations, because that has nothing to do with Stanton. Both right now are problems, but Jake, I think you've talked me into the fact that we do have a major problem on our hand when our DH isn't hitting. It's creating a lot of problems. It's clogging, not the base paths, but it's really clogging a lot of rallies. But I think what I've realized here, this is my conclusion. No matter what you pick, there's a downside. If Jason Dominguez goes out to left field, there's a downside defensively. Okay, can I live with that? Is he going to hit to make up for that? Okay, now Giancarlo's out. I am essentially wiping away the opportunity, if Giancarlo doesn't play at DH, for him to get hot and carry us the way we've seen many times, right? So there's that drawback. Aaron Judge has made some strong throws. We saw that in the wild card with Boston. We saw that throw, and he's still a really good, an excellent right fielder. There's a drawback of taking him out of right field just with the glove work there. So there are drawbacks to any decision that Boone makes in this situation. So I get why people would say, oh, this is just the easy choice. I don't think any of these choices are easy. It's going to be a tough choice whether or not Boone wants to introduce Jason Dominguez, who I don't even want to say, oh, he's 22. That's not a factor to me. You either think he's good enough to play in this series, in this situation, or not. And I genuinely would take that chance. I really would, because we're talking about a 5-game set here. It's not a lot of baseball to be played. Whoever wins 3 games moves on, and we have to live with that. So having said that, I moved to the speed game. I moved to the contact game, and I see what happens from there.
Yeah, and I was looking into the splitter numbers because, again, I just think it's such a big deal that I think we don't talk nearly enough about, and not just we, just in general. We don't talk enough about the splits for pitches, and we have all of that at our disposal on Savant, so I don't know why we don't do it. Right. But like Trey Savage, right, throws it about 26% of the time. So you're going to get a heavy dose of the splitter. Yeah. He only has 3 pitches. He has a 4-seamer, runs about 94.7 miles an hour, and then his slider, and then his splitter. And his splitter is a 26, his slider's a 28, and the 4-seam he goes with it 45% of the time. So I think the big thing here is who hits the splitter well. And actually, off air, I told you I wouldn't play Ben Rice tomorrow because he doesn't hit the splitter well. Well, that's a load of shit. And this is why I actually looked it up. He hits the splitter better than anybody in the lineup.
Who does?
Ben Rice.
Does he really?
He has a 318 batting average against the splitter.
Interesting. I was also going to say, I feel like the splitter, we see it with Cruz, where it's really tough for him to hold runners on. The splitter is not a good pitch to throw runners out. And it's also a very uncomfortable pitch to throw. When you've got speed at first base and maybe even 2 outs, it's uncomfortable to throw that splitter. You can bounce that pitch very easily. It's almost intended to be bounced.
Yeah.
And it can move a runner into scoring position and change a game in a hurry. So I really would make an emphasis. I didn't know that about Ben Rice. I actually thought it would have been the opposite given what I've watched. But, I mean, that's just eye test.
No, I told you I thought that's what it was. And I looked and I was like, oh, my God, he's the only one that hits the splitter well in this lineup. The only one.
But Ben Rice has been we encouraged him to play, right? And this was against early in the Boston series. We wanted to see what those lefty-on-lefty at-bats were. He had 2 unproductive strikeouts. They were horrible, right? And we were devastated in the moment. We end up winning the series anyways, which is good for us. But then you walk into another game, right? You walk into a game 1 against a right-handed pitcher. In theory, he's got bad numbers. He had bad numbers. I believe he was 0 for 4 coming into the game, 0 for 6 actually. And you go out there, he's now 0 for 10 against that right-handed matchup. It's difficult right now because Ben Rice was one of our best hitters. I mean, this is about a damn week ago. And then now we're talking about the last 2 to 3 games. Ben Rice has been one of our worst at bats. So it's been difficult to watch. I don't know if his name's in the lineup tomorrow. We may see Paul Goldschmidt. I know you were introducing that pre-show. But I wanted to talk about, until that. But I wanted to discuss Luis Gil.
Jazz, by the way, also hits
what's
it
up?
well.
Does he? Okay.
And so does Grisham. So,
which there's the speed. Grisham has been downright atrocious. I know he had a knock in the wild card finale, but Trent Grisham's at bats today. You mentioned the fact he's just not taking pitches at all. So I do
when you're
think
lead off,
they could
you can't
look at
just swing at the first pitch and both at bats to start the game. You just can't.
No, you can't. No, you can't do that at all. And we saw that from Bellinger as well in the wild card, where we're just being too aggressive. Like, you need to read the room and see the situation. If it calls for swinging at the first pitch, you get an absolute meatball with runners in scoring position. Okay, I understand that, but to lead off a game, it didn't make any sense whatsoever. I wanted to discuss Luis Gil, though, because the Yankees have shown really no confidence in him whatsoever. I know they would say, well, what do you mean? We gave him the ball, right? Instead of, we didn't want to throw Warren out there. And we gave him the baseball to start game 1 against the team that won the division. We had faith in him. Well, not based on what you guys said about him all year. Not based on what you've been talking about. We thought, he's preventing runs. He's walking damn near everybody. But we let it slide because as long as you're getting the outs, it'll suffice. But then we did bring up the fact that in October, that's going to be a tough sell because those at-bats turn into extended at-bats. Now all of a sudden you're letting guys on base. It turns into 2-3-run innings. And now your bullpen is getting up in innings that they have no business pitching in. That's what we saw tonight. And if you're Luis Gil, if you're the New York Yankees, Jake, I don't know how you look at this situation. There very well could be a spot where the Yankees go into their offseason and say, we don't trust him now on our roster. I'm not sure what we're going to do with you long term because it seems like they don't like his way of business, which is bend, don't break. As a lot of people say about a defense in the NFL, that tends to not be a very good defense when they said bend, don't break, right? That's
field
what
goal,
Luis Gil...
Field goal. Well,
it's a bunch of field goals. Points. They're still scoring points. So the Yankees very clearly don't like this. Are you souring on Gil? Do you think the Yankees are souring on Gil? What's up?
Yeah, you know what's funny, Gary, is it wasn't that long ago we were talking about Montgomery and how the Yankees gave up on Montgomery before we could even see because they were like, yeah, Brian Cashman just doesn't trust him in the postseason. Like, he just made that effort. He just made that. It looks ridiculous because he was a huge reason why Texas won, but the World Series, for the record. But
ironic.
He just made that assumption. And when he made that assumption, it was like, all right, He's gone. We just traded for a center fielder that has crazy range, but he's also currently injured, and we won't see him for a while. But that's how quickly we needed to get rid of this guy because we didn't trust him. I don't see how you could feel that way about Montgomery and then feel any differently about Louis Seal when Louis Seal hasn't shown you any ability to, have location. And in playoff, he didn't pitch well last year in the playoffs. So he's kind of just a guy that, yeah, during the regular season, he can be a 5, but they're going to have such insane competition. Gary, let me ask you this right now.
Yep.
You have Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, who was basically the minor league pitcher of the year. Okay?
Yep.
Do you really think this spring he's not going to show them more and outbid Louis Seal? Are we going to stop and think, guys? Yes, Savage is a rookie. He's pitching tomorrow. Cam Schlittler, rookie. Early, rookie. Look at all of these rookies. Roki Sasaki was in the 9th inning today for the Dodgers to basically close the game. This is what I'm talking about. Look at all these rookies teams are starting to rely on. You really don't think Elmer Rodriguez Cruz is going to outduel, outperform Louis Seal in camp, and you don't think that the Yankees will give him an opportunity? I do. I 100% do.
But even if he didn't, Jake, you're talking about
Clark Schmidt,
probably a 5.
back.
You're talking about. Look at the room. Carlos Rodon, there's one. Fried, right? You're talking Garrett Cole. We expect Garrett Cole. You think he's not going to be in the rotation, right? Schlittler is a lock. That's 4 locks right then and there. So now you're fighting for one position. And again, guys, I understand people are like, well, it's always good to have talent in the room and you can slide them over in the 5 spot. Somehow, some way, your 4 and 5 end up on a mound in October. Everyone says you could say what you will. Oh, we're going to go 3-man. We're going to go. You end up having your 4 out there starting the game. It happened today, and we thought when the season started we were going to win this division. I don't think many people had that the Toronto Blue Jays were going to go win the AL East. That's not because we're overlooking anybody, but it's not set in stone who's winning these divisions. Now the Jays go out and earn the division, right? They win it fair and square. They take care of us. Okay, great. All of a sudden, people are saying it's a toss-up between Heel and Warren. Who's going to start this game? And the majority of people in our comment section, and we both agree, Jake, the decision, especially on the road, was going to be Heel and not Warren. And Warren pitches very poorly on the road. So, these positions matter. They matter. And the Yankees have to ask themselves, is ERC going to be the guy we want to spin the ball to maybe next year, or is it going to be Warren or somebody we pick up in the offseason? They're going to have to answer that question this offseason. I'm curious to see what they say. And we're going to find out very quickly because I highly doubt they're just going to show up into another season and just say, oh, yeah, we'll see what Heel does. Based on what they've said, even with quality performance and being wild, they're like, yeah, well, we don't trust this guy. Okay. It is a bold thing to say about a player. And Jake, I do want to get to some of our supers. We had this pre-show. So Mitchell, thank you for the 10. And this is a quote. Welcome to the return of the dark side of the Yankees. No clutch hitting and weak pen. To beat really good teams, you need to at least clutch or strong pen. Jake, I don't think this had anything really to do with the Yankees' weak pen. Luke Weaver is a bad pitcher. He's not even in my group of bullpen guys. I think Boone made a decision here. Should I go to my most high leverage guy and keep this game close, or should I go to something that could work and may not work? I think that's what he did. He looked at this game and said, I think game 2 is going to be our better shot. He went with Weaver, and it blew the game open.
Yeah, the whole 7th inning thing, I just don't get it. I'm not saying Luke Weaver would have just automatically pitched well in the 8th or the 6th, but to know, and if you don't know, then you're just not doing your homework because Yankees Unloaded did it for you. To just know that he, for lack of a better term, blows chunks in the 7th inning, I just don't understand why you would put him in the 7th inning. That's the
Someone asked me
definition of
today,
insanity.
when would you pitch him? When would you pitch him?
Not in the 7th inning.
So the 6th?
Yeah,
If it calls for it?
8th, 9th. If I see splits are funny until you want results, and then you realize, oh shit. Like, because that's the thing. They're funny, right? It's like the ESPN, the old tale of, yeah, he's the first man since the sun was Mercury was in retrograde. It was 10:01 to have a stolen base. Like, yes, those splits are hilarious. But here's the deal. If I have a consistent data set based on a certain query, why the hell am I going to go against it? I have that data set. I know Luke Weaver sucks in the 7th inning. I don't need to sit here and try and justify why. If he has better numbers in the 8th and 9th, you're just being a stubborn asshole if you pitch him in the 7th and say, yeah, this is baseball. It's just the way it worked out. No,
Jake, I do think to some degree, though, you make good points, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're basically saying you suck in the 7th. These are stats. These are not our opinions. The numbers just are atrocious in the 7th. They're good in the 8th. They're good in the 9th. So, in turn, we should use that information and pitch you in the 8th or 9th. Here's the problem. Given what's happened, when you have a guy who's pitched twice, 2 times, he has not recorded an out. His ERA is infinity. Infinity.
To infinity and beyond, which that'll be the comment section.
Aaron Boone would never in his right mind be able to say, well, Weaver has good numbers in the 8th or 9th, because, Jake, what would happen if he went out there and pitched the 8th or 9th and blew the game? Those numbers wouldn't matter. They would just turn to Boone and say, why would you go to Luke Weaver? And they'd be right. So he shouldn't pitch at all. In any scenario where the Yankees need an out, he shouldn't touch the mound. So I agree with the numbers that you provided. But those numbers are only valuable when Luke Weaver looks like Luke Weaver. And since that return from the injury, Luke Weaver hasn't looked like Luke Weaver at all. Here's what Luke Weaver had to say post-game. He says, there's been a lot of internal factors. I don't want to get too crazy into it. And despite, here's a whole damn paragraph for me to read. He did get crazy into it. But there's adjustments I've had to make based off of things that people are seeing. It just hasn't really lined up. It's been pretty late in the adjustment period, and it's just not lining up out there. I don't really feel like myself. And I don't feel like my mind is completely clear to go out there and attack. I'm not sure what that means, but here I am. I do feel physically strong. I do feel mentally strong overall. I just think there's some factors that are building up, and I'm just not executing at the clip I want to. Sounds a lot like he's blaming coaching.
I mean, how do you put him back on a mound after anything he just said? Can I just be honest? How do you do that? That dude doesn't sound like he's 100% mentally. I don't care physically. If you're admitting, dude, he's essentially admitting that he's not all there.
Could you imagine looking at Travis Pastrana? He's about to attempt the double backflip, and they're like, Travis, how you feeling pre-jump? I'm just not feeling very good. Things aren't lining up, but we'll see how it goes. I'm supposed to trust you? We played 162 regular season baseball games. 162 games. Many people think it's too many games. We're now here. The Jays win the division.
Why is this the first we're hearing about it?
We go through the wild card, and now we make it through the wild card, right?
Yeah.
Red Sox fans are jumping up and down, and they win game 1. Then we win it. They're like, I can't believe you're popping champagne. Anywho.
That's funny.
We do all that to get to this point, and then we throw you the ball, and you're like, I don't know what's going on. I just can't line it up. It's just not... It's not working. I just don't feel myself. Okay, great. If you don't feel myself, go sit down next to coach. You will not perform. You're not good. That's part of being an athlete, is knowing what your body is doing so that we can get a consistent result. That's the only reason that you can see a Tanaka, a Garrett Cole, right, a CC Sabathia. The only reason they were good at their jobs is because they had an expectation of what their body was doing on a day-to-day basis. Not one day to the next, it's something completely different. Weaver essentially just told on himself, and I appreciate that he answered the question honestly.
I was just going to say, at least he wasn't a damn NPC.
He essentially told us, I don't really know what to do with my hands. Okay, great. Go play with a Rubik's Cube. You will not perform for the Yankees during this postseason run. And Boone's
Or
pitching
ever
him because
again
he
at
thinks
that
that we
point.
need. Yeah, he just thinks we need his performance in order to go where we need to go because of what happened in 2024. I think that's a mistake, Jake. I do.
You know what's so funny is tonight, albeit, maybe it wasn't the highest of leverage, but I'm going to say this right now. I thought, I'd say it was high leverage. I would not be surprised if Camilo Doval is that kind of Mark Leiter Jr. that just kind of comes out of nowhere as an unsung hero and ends up being huge for the bullpen.
Because they throw him probably in situations. People have to realize why Weaver pitched tonight. It's not because Boone said, okay, Hill and Doval worked out. Who's the next guy that will work? That's not really what he was doing. He put Weaver out there because it was a close enough game to make Weaver believe it is a high leverage situation. He pitches well in high leverage. These are stats that we can back up.
Yeah.
He put him out there, and if Weaver found a way to get some momentum bouncing the positive direction, he eventually can say, Weaver's somebody I can call on. He's essentially trying to develop him in real time, but it's also not a high-risk play. It is, in reality. We can lose the game, but it's not high risk because if Weaver goes out there and gets shelled, at least Williams and Bednar and all these guys weren't burnt. That's essentially how he ended up. Doval's the same deal. We put him on the mound because we're like, this game's getting away from us. Get Doval ready. And then if you look up and say, Jake, he's pitched 3 or 4 outings scoreless, we may just throw him on a mound in the 10th inning of an extra, you're talking extra innings. Doval may end up with making 4 outs, and you're like, oh, I couldn't believe Doval actually did something tonight. He's been slowly building towards this. So I would agree with you. I think this is part of the reason why we said Doval could work here in the short term, but we don't trust it.
What's so interesting is his best ERA split is actually September/October
Doval?
for his career. 2.81, and that's 57 and 2/3 innings. So,
That's a lot. That is a lot for someone in his role. It's a lot. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, as Toronto 6393 is mentioning, the series is just starting. If the Yankees win Game 2, we're going back to the stadium. Hell, we might not even end up back in Toronto. That's how early it is in the series. Now, again, technically the Yankees still could just be swept. We lose Game 2. People are feeling pretty bleak about the series, but technically the series doesn't start until the road team wins a game. We'll see if the Yankees can steal one.
Don't be surprised if they put Luke Weaver on IL.
That is an interesting... Who would you replace him with? Would it be Yarborough?
It would be Yarbrough.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of telling us that the Mark Leiter Jr. experiment is over. He didn't even make this roster, and Paul Blackburn did. Like, what are we doing?
Paul Blackburn does have value, though. We're not as low...
I agreed with it. Remember I told you I
Yes.
actually trusted Paul Blackburn for what his role is?
Yeah.
Because you need to eat innings, and in a game like this, Paul, you can go out there and give up 14. That is the benefit of you doing your job because you're coming in. Someone has to pitch.
This is what Marcus Stroman, he didn't want to do this.
Yeah.
Put him on the roster. He's built up as a starter. He can go 6 in some mop-up role, and you can just throw him out there, and he can give you 10 outs. You give up 4 runs. Who cares? They don't care about his ERA, none of it.
I was told we don't get a lot of people in here.
Yep. That's what the people with no comment.
You're like, you know what? No.
You know what? I've grown. But I want to get to this super chat here from David L. David's got the most random prices for his super chats. But David, we really appreciate, of course, the support for the channel. So thank you for the $5.10 super chat. David says, insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. Luke Stroman sucks in the 7th.
Stroman?
We need to get some AI to make Stroman and Luke Weaver just mesh into one person.
God.
So why
ridiculous.
repeat? When will Buffoon learn? I I tried earlier to explain why he did what he did. It's not me shilling for the decision. It's just me trying to make sense of why he thought it made sense at the time. It's not what I would have done, but yeah. So if somebody could use AI, I hate AI, but in some instances it is good. If we can get a Photoshop of Luke Weaver looking like Stroman, give me a do-rag on Luke, it would be so funny.
I'm glowing? Someone just said I'm glowing.
Wow, that's nice of them to say.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
That's really nice of them to say.
Now, just wait in the comment section after this video. You guys shouldn't be smiling after losing 10-1.
I know. Somebody in the comments said I look like Dak Prescott.
Hey,
I don't know if you saw that in the live.
You're up for MVP this year because Dak is having a killer year.
He is killing it. Yep. And Tank 1562 with the 2 says Judge is a choke artist. Call it what it is. I think we should. It's time
early.
we'll have a brief conversation about it, because if you look at the numbers, Judge is hitting 400. Okay, those are set in stone. They're over and done with. But I think what Tank is getting at here is what I was getting at pre-show. Jake, is it's not so much a judgment as to how your average at bat looks like in this postseason run. I think the average at bat, Judge is getting his hits. He is. You can't hit 400 without getting your knocks. That is hard to do in October. But Tank's bringing up the point that when the bases are loaded with nobody outs, I don't care who's pitching, you need to come through, right? And when you look at all of the teams, every single team out there that wins World Series, when their best player, if Vladdy Jr. comes up with the bases loaded and nobody out, and he chops the ball to first base into a double play, he could hit 400 for the postseason, but in those key game-changing at-bats where it's a 2-1 game, it can go one way or the other, that's the at-bat. You may have one of those, 2 of them a series. Those 1 or 2 at-bats could be the way I judge you. So Judge is hitting. That's set in stone. But the important at-bats, so far, Judge hasn't he hasn't been as impactful with his knocks as we'd like him to be. But I still have faith he will, Jake. I do. To your point, I am more concerned with what Stanton's doing, because important or not, he's not getting hits.
Yeah, I mean, look, like Judge, he's got to come through in that moment because, well, let's just say this, right? You just played 3 games, you had a day off. You're in the thick of things. This team, we did talk about, and I want to bring this up because I want to be fair to our analysis and not just flip-flop here. We talked about how the Yankees could benefit from playing in the wild card.
Yes.
And yet, the Blue Jays don't look as rusty as the Yankees did when they were the 1 seed last year. As a matter of fact, their best player has a 750 batting average after his first game. Alejandro Kirk had 2 home runs.
And he had a horrible September, by the way. Hit under 200. It was all over the broadcast. They were like, "Oh, we were surprised by this result." And I was looking up and saying, "Well, I understand why you're surprised, but there's nothing like October baseball. Very unpredictable." I will say, when a player struggles all of September, that reminds me a lot of Giancarlo Stanton. Jake, you brought up the numbers, and I mentioned that in my solo show. Stanton always struggles in September. So sometimes looking at September numbers isn't really an indication of anything. It's just not. Like, you really need to see what that person's about when the bright lights turn on, because I promise you, unless you're neck and neck and you're talking about one game or the next could determine the division, September is not anything close. That baseball is not close to this baseball. Not close. So will be interesting. I need to see Judge come through in those big spots, because he'll have another opportunity, whether it be in game 2 or back at the stadium for games 3 and 4. We need Judge. I get it. And we made it our title that Stanton, without playoff Stanton, what is this team? Can they go anywhere? Probably not if Judge isn't getting the important hits, but one or the other, one of those 2 guys, they're both making $30+ million a year to get these hits. So let's get to it.
Yeah. And by the way, the Yankees saw more pitches than anybody this year. So,
Did we?
You know, it's one of those things where, okay, well, now we need to see it in the postseason. I wanted to bounce this off you.
Yeah.
Didn't it feel like kind of how like a defensive coordinator has a game plan, right? didn't it feel like the Yankees were told, hey, our game plan at the dish today is to be aggressive right away, not even where it counts?
It seemed like if I didn't know anything about Gaussman, I didn't know anything about the Yankees, I didn't know anything about the Jays, just either of these teams, and I just watched this game for what it was. If you asked me by the third or fourth inning, if I had to make a judgment, what was the game plan, I would assume the Yankees were told to avoid 2 strikes and avoid the out pitch. That would be what I thought. If the leadoff hitter, Trent Grisham, right, and I didn't know who that was, and he pops up, he swings at the first pitch of the game. It was a foul ball technically. He was called out on a ground ball to first base. I would say, what was it about the game plan? You're not Ricky Henderson, right? What was it about the game plan that compelled you in front of Aaron Judge in the lineup to do what you did? And there would be no other conclusion I could draw other than you're clearly trying to avoid that pitcher's out pitch, which is just a strange strategy. Unless you're facing a Tarek Skubal, you're talking about Garrett Crochet, the upper echelon of arms. And I'm trying to say this. I said this on Twitter, and people, Jake, were just losing their mind. What do you mean? You think Kevin Gaussman sucks? No, I don't think Kevin Gaussman is in the conversation with the top flight premium arms. Make him come to you in an at-bat. Work an at-bat. Get into favorable counts. Get fastballs in hitters' counts and do damage. He's not at a level where you're forced to jump pitches early 0-1, 0-0. I just thought it was a silly game plan from the Yankees, and it bit us early.
Our resident Toronto Blue Jays fan, Toronto 6393, is saying Gaussman said how surprised he was about how aggressive the Yankees were. That's how I felt. I just I don't know, man. It just felt like that was the game plan. And
do you remember his outing at Yankee Stadium, by the way, where he threw about 194 pitches in 3 innings of work, and his velocity was at 91, 92? Now, mind you, different stuff, different time. That we know all this stuff. But, Jake, the game plan then was he may strike us out, and he absolutely had more strikeouts than he did tonight in that outing, but the Yankees really forced him to work and forced them to get to their bullpen. It seemed like we were just terrified to get to their bullpen, terrified to get 2 strikes.
You know what it seemed like?
It made no sense.
What did I text you today? I have no worries about this game because Gaussman has a over 6 ERA in the postseason.
You did say that. That's right.
Didn't it feel like it's just like, all right, we'll keep the... Because he had 60 pitches going in the 6th inning, Gary. We'll keep the pitch count low, we'll hit him, and that way they can't take him out. That's what it felt like. It felt like it was just like, as long as we keep it low, they're not going to take him out.
We keep the pitch count low. There's no reason for Schneider to go to his pen. We don't want to see the 100 miles an hour at the bullpen, right? We don't want to see that, which you saw in the Stanton at bat. We would rather see the 95 with a splitter and a Bugs Bunny curveball. Stupid game plan. And so when a pitcher says, I was surprised how they went about their business, is that ever a good thing? When someone says, I was surprised how they went about their business, I was surprised how aggressive he was in the fight, they're essentially saying you were too aggressive. Whatever you did didn't work, so let's learn from this. Please, fast in Game 2. Yeah. So Toronto 6393, thank you for being here, obviously, in our live chat. We really appreciate that. And let me see. I do have J-Dog in here, who's been a member for the past 2 months. And guys, thank you for all of our members, first and foremost. J-Dog says, evening, Jake and Garrett, keep up the great shows. Jay, we really appreciate it. Thank you for the word. And Apex, a mod of ours, thank you for the 2. Says 2026, keep Warren in rotation. And Heel in the bullpen. See, there you go.
I read rot too. I was just like, rot?
That's the quickest I thought.
In hell? Like,
yeah. I could tell by the demeanor, right? Because, by the way, I did notice on Twitter, Apex said, this was also a little bit in hindsight, so I don't know what he said during the show last night or 2 days ago about Warren. He said, Warren probably should have pitched this game. I think that is a little bit of a farce. Heel was the best option for the Yankees. He missed bats with the best of them. Horrible control. Heel was the right choice.
Yeah, Heel was the right choice. And
didn't work out.
He just didn't look like a guy that just won the Rookie of the Year last year. So... yeah, I have a weird take for some people, but I'm rooting, and I like Will Warren and I like Luis Heel, but I am rooting for ERC to win that 5th job next year, and I believe he will.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with it because we're not talking about somebody that's forced to go slate up in the 2 or 3 spot. Guys, we've got Garrett Cole returning, right? We've got some real good problems to have. Our top flight guy out of our system who's a starter.
Gary?
What?
Good problem to have. Just that line. How many times has that
all
been
of
said
our
on
good
Yankees
problems
Unloaded?
All of our good problems to have, and we don't encourage good problems to have. We've hated them all year. No. There's good problems to have are still problems, as Michael K likes to say. Anytime someone says you have a good problem to have, it didn't end up working out.
No.
I seem to notice that it just didn't work out. So we have high hopes for Warren. We believe that he can have a role for this team. But if ERC shows up and he looks like he very well could look like, it's not that hard to go win a 5 spot in a rotation. And that could really make the rotation deadly. So we'll obviously get into that in the offseason. And guys, again, if you're new here, please be sure to subscribe and like the video. Liking is the best thing you could do for the channel. And Mark, who's been a member for 4 months, Mark, welcome back, says if this goes game 5, I think Fried, and this is interesting, definitely pitches on short rest. There's no way we are putting anything other than our best out there. I think this is a really good point. If this is a serious take at all, Judge to DH is smart as well. So we'll start from back to front here. Mark is mentioning that Judge should DH. That now, in my opinion, introduces Jason Dominguez into the series. Okay? If that happens, okay, great. Great, right? But
yeah,
when you're talking about game 5, Jake, there's no way in hell we get into a situation where Heel or Warren touch the mound. No way. No possible way do any of those guys touch the mound. I do think because we had the actual rotation slated, right? We had 2, 3, and 4, I believe it was, right? So we're talking Fried is pitching game 2. We've got Rodon pitching game 3. Schlittler's pitching game 4. It would be Fried on short rest for game 5. I pretty much have no question about that.
Yeah, I think... I mean, let's start off with the whole Fried thing. If this goes to game 5, you're probably going to see... They might even do a combination of Fried. Might be tough with Rodon, but... Yeah,
because the tough part is Rodon would be on even shorter rest. And
hold on.
If you do that, then it's like, how rested could you be?
Let's do the math, right?
Yeah.
So the Yankees would play game 2 tomorrow, as we know.
Yep. That is Sunday.
Game 2, yeah. So I just want to make sure we have everything calculated. So tomorrow, game 2, day off Monday. Right? So then Tuesday would be game 3. So if you're doing, like, you're going in a row, right? So say Heel's your ace. We'll just say that for argument's sake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days of rest. Fried is 100% starting game 5 because it works out perfectly. It would just be regular.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it works out perfectly. Fried.
So it's the drawback we didn't get Fried for game 1, but the positive side of it is we're going to probably see Gausman versus Fried in that outing.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the thing is that, Fried would definitely get...
Is that how that would work out, by the way? Or would it be Savage pitching game 5?
I mean, they could technically go with... it's interesting, right? Because, I mean, it'd be extra rest for him. That'd be 8 days, but they could go with Gausman again.
Would Gausman pitch game 4? How much rest would that be?
So, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4... That'd be 4 days rest.
Okay, so I think the best thing that can happen for the Yankees is that the Jays fall into the trap of pitching Gausman in game 4 and go for the jugular. The Yankees win that game, and now you're talking about a rookie slated for the winner-take-all game. Now, the Yankees rookie and Cam Schlittler passed that test. How often does a player pass that test as a rookie? Not very often. So I think if you're the Yankees, you're probably hoping that a young arm takes the mound in Game 5 for Toronto.
Yeah, so my thing is, Schlittler, you're getting at home for Game 4.
Yes.
Obviously. But I'm going to say this right now. When it comes to Game 1, this was advantage Toronto from the get-go.
100%.
And this is, I think, kind of going into it, while I expected the Yankees to win, they didn't have to win this game. And the reason I say that is because heel going, they were already at a disadvantage. They were at a disadvantage having to play on the road. They were at a disadvantage not having the rest that the Blue Jays had. We just didn't know were the Blue Jays going to come out of it looking rusty, or were they going to be what they were today.
And they look great.
They look great today. They looked like a team that could win it all, truthfully. So, that said, that's done. Now you have the rookie who has an advantage because the Yankees haven't seen him yet. And in addition to that, while the Yankees haven't seen him yet, he hasn't seen the Yankees yet. So we're not really sure what's going to go on. We just know he's a rookie. He has, a lot of velocity, and he's got 3 pitches, a slider and a splitter, and the splitter can devastate 90% of the lineup. So,
do you think Grisham sees more than 4 pitches tomorrow if he plays? The game plan, there's no possible way that the Yankees hitters they put it on the whiteboard. Hey, we're going to try and jump the rookie arm. You need to make a rookie pitcher work. It wouldn't have worked against Cam Schlittler with the type of stuff and command he had at the stadium.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have worked. But you've got to apply pressure. You've got to find ways to simply get on base, make them go out of the stretch, right? Give them different looks, show them some speed, make them think about multiple things. You need to apply pressure. There's no way the Yankees show up and they're as aggressive as they were in Game 1. I think that would be silly. It just wasn't good execution at all today. I didn't think we deserved to win this game. I know we had huge at-bats in the 6th that probably could have changed the game for the better, but being fair, the Yankees didn't deserve to win this game. Gausman's a better arm than Heel. I think we can all agree on that. He delivered. The Jays showed up. You mentioned they could have been rusty. They weren't, right? Vladdy Jr. showed up and threw the first punch, so give them credit. And Doc Manny with the 10, thank you for the super, says, Goldie, this is interesting because we talked about analytics. A lot of people
talked about this off air, by the way.
We also talked about this off air. So Doc with the 10 says Goldie was 10 for 22 versus Gausman. Now, there's not an opinion there. That's just pure stat. And didn't touch a bat today. I guess that was evaluated, but they still decided in favor for Rice, just throwing that out there. Now, Rice, I don't want to just talk out of both sides of my face here. I really do believe that they're instilling confidence in Ben Rice, which is a good thing in theory, right? Like Ben Rice has really earned an ability to play. Obviously, the last 2 or 3 days he hasn't. But Jake, when you look at someone's numbers and you say if somebody is 10 for 22, if any good pitcher in the league 10 for 22, that is dominance offensively, dominance. And another thing we know about Goldie is he is absolutely a better defensive first baseman, albeit not that much better, right? Goldie has not been as good as people thought he'd be defensively. He's just been okay. Well, Goldie is a better first baseman than Ben Rice. So if Goldie started today at first base and I saw the numbers 10 for 22, how could anyone in their right mind say that wasn't the right decision?
Well, exactly. And I'm so glad Doc Manny brought this up because we literally talked about this off air and I was going to forget to bring it up. The problem is the Yankees use these splits, they use these analytics, all of that. What the issue is, they use it as like literally a one size fits all. Like if you suck against lefties or you suck against righties, you just suck, right? The problem is same thing with just real life, right? Individualism exists.
Yes.
Every pitcher's different than the next. They have different arm slots. They tunnel different. Their sequencing is different. Their pitch count is different. Their pitching is different. They have different pitches, different velocities, right? Some guys have fastballs that run up. Some guys have fastballs that sink. Some guys can't throw the fastball in the zone, and they're just expecting you to chase. Some guys throw it completely in the zone, and you can go and beat up on them. Some guys throw 105 like Mason Miller. There's just not many of those. The point being, right, is that not every one of these pitchers is the same. We get caught up in a trap where it's like, oh, you got the lefty-lefty matchup. Okay, but did you actually look at like the career numbers? Because what you're doing is you're actually setting yourself up to get nuked. And that's
It's like we're cavemen. Righty, righty, starting
lefty,
pitcher,
lefty,
number one.
Righty, lefty, lefty. It's like, are we really?
It's
really?
so, we honestly, they say we're highly analytical. It seems like we're like Fred Flintstone at this point of analytics.
Highly stupid, more like it. Are you kidding me?
Okay, Doc, essentially what we're telling you, if Ben Rice, and we'll just use him as an example because he is a lefty.
Yes.
If he was 10 for 10 off of Chris Sale, 10 for 10 with 10 home runs, and his overall numbers against lefties were bad, right? You could look at the numbers and distinctively say he's not good against lefties. And Chris Sale was starting game 1 of this series, Ben Rice wouldn't have played. That's what we're telling you.
Yeah.
The individualism of each stat, what each player does against each individual pitcher, they don't consider it. They don't. They didn't consider it with Rosario taking at bats against Chapman. They didn't take a look at that at all off the bench. They don't look at those numbers. They'll tell you, we've got all the data here. Someone that was 10 for 22, just you didn't pick up a bat. You didn't think that would be helpful to you. How's that possible? You've got a guy who's your designated hitter who literally is hitting under 100 in all of his at-bats. And he's not hitting balls hard, by the way. He hit a ball hard off the wall. That was one time, a singular time. But Giancarlo Stanton hasn't looked good at the plate. You never, at any point in the game, found a place to take an at-bat with Paul Goldschmidt against Gaussman. That makes no sense.
Every
None.
night we talk about like history and you know, like, oh yeah, the career numbers against who? Like every night we've been doing this. We've been doing this. If the Yankees wanted to copy us, we'd be like, freaking do it.
Go ahead. So essentially what happened, Doc, and we'll conclude with this. Ben Rice, who is 0 for 6 coming into the game against Gaussman, took a bases loaded with 1 out at bat that changed the absolute, just the entire complexion of the game. Completely changed the game on its head in a negative way. Ben Rice took that at bat in that moment, and Paul Goldschmidt, who was 10 for 22, sat on the bench and spit sunflower seeds with a pullover on. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't. So we're not trying to be hypocritical or hindsight Hanks here. We're just simply bringing up the numbers that are obvious. 10 for 22 against a pitcher you probably should play. So you're also the veteran. So, Doc, thank you for bringing that. And I want to put this up on screen because we do have a new member.
Do they win that series without him? I don't know if they do.
Probably, yeah. We'll see. So Lorraine for New York Yankees is now a Yankees Unloaded member. So Lorraine, thank you for doing so. We really appreciate it. Welcome in. And also has dropped a super chat. So Lorraine, thank you for the 2 and supporting Yankees Unloaded. Welcome in. Guys, thank you for all the support. Paul from the UK with the 5 says, wow, that was painful. It was. Hopefully you didn't watch the whole game. Glad to watch while at work and being paid for pleasure of that Toronto torture show. Let's go Yankees game 2. Great show, guys. So, Paul, thank you for the support. Yeah, the game was absolutely painful. I agree with Jake's point, though. Jake, I think you hit the nail on the head. The Yankees didn't have to win this game. We would have loved to win it. They all count. So let's not act like it doesn't hurt us. It does hurt you losing game 1. But it puts a lot of pressure on you to go out and win game 2, and it's very possible. We've got our ace on the mound. He's pitched great all year. Hasn't pitched well against Toronto, so he's going to have to do something he hasn't done just yet. But, guys, he walked in October with postseason numbers of an ERA over 5, and he's been electric so far in October for the Yankees. So I'm going to put some faith in the Fried. I think he pitches well tomorrow. The Yankees bats have to wake up against a young pitcher. I don't care what type of stuff he's got. You need to be better.
The key is if you end up stealing the next game, right? Because all you need to do is win 1 game out of these 2.
Correct.
If you win 1, you can end it in the Bronx. That's how stupid a 5-game series is.
It is pretty silly that Toronto, who absolutely deserves the advantage over us. I know people are upset about it because we won 94 games and they beat us. They beat us one-on-one. I mean, that's way more important than the 94 wins, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So they went out and beat us. And then we see them in the playoffs. You have to play 2 games at home. You lose one of the 2 games, and that team, with all the momentum, by the way, and they came through the wild card, and their ace was slotted back. So actually, it becomes, the further down the series, the more of a mismatch starting-wise, in terms of starting pitching, it goes towards the Yankees. Cam Schlittler, by the time he pitches, it's going to be a major advantage for the Yankees. So if the Yankees win Game 2, I promise you, I mean, the temperament shouldn't be high right now, and we've got a lot of work to do, so let's be honest.
Yeah.
But if we win Game 2, and that's a big if, it changes the complexion of the series completely. We're going to Yankee Stadium flying high.
Isn't that
we
crazy?
are feeling really good. It's insane.
That's
it's nuts.
so stupid. You can win a game 10-1 at home, and then you lose one game, and you're like, oh shit, we're screwed. Like, that's
Saw it in the NBA.
Dumb. That is how dumb the 5-game series is. Please,
I saw it in the
baseball,
NBA,
fix
Jake.
this.
I saw it in the NBA in 2012.
So
LeBron
stupid.
wins. We won't obviously dive into the NBA too much in the show, but I saw it in 2012. LeBron wins his first championship. They're playing the Oklahoma City Thunder. A lot of people forget OKC had the number 1 seed. They were coming out west. They played 2 games in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City wins Game 1. Miami wins Game 2. The next 3 games of a 7-game set were in Miami. They never got back to Oklahoma City. Ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. It looks like, by the way, Seattle and Detroit are just going to beat the shit out of each other, so they might just be weakened by the time the winner of this. It's 2-2 in the 9th inning. That it's that's a physical game. Yeah, I mean, I just think I feel really good about this team. I've said it. I'm not backing down on it now. When you trotted heel out there, it was more so, yeah, a win would be nice, but we always knew that it wasn't a guarantee. It really feels like a guarantee, and no win is truly a guarantee.
No.
But I do think they're going to win the next 3 games. I just do. I think, today sucked, and they just kind of let them have it, whatever, 10-1.
Okay.
But I just think you have Fried, Rodon, Schlittler. I don't like when Luis Heel gives up those 2 home runs. I feel like it just kind of killed the offense.
Okay.
I think they're going to rally behind Fried, Rodon, and Schlittler. I think all 3 of them are going to pitch well. If anybody doesn't, it'll be Rodon against Bieber, and that'll just be like one of those games where you have to have kind of a slugfest. But I think Schlittler is going to shove at the stadium.
Yeah. No, I mean, I have a ton of expectation on Schlittler. Obviously, it's not going to look like the way it looked in that outing.
I kind of feel like he should be the ace, honestly.
It's ridiculous what he did.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say this is even a closer series than what people may think. I think we're going back to Toronto for a Game 5. I expect the Yankees to win both games at the stadium. I do see this super chat from Daniel with the 2 who says, if the Yankees go down 0-2, do they win both in New York? That's how I see this series going. I have a lot of hope for Max Fried.
You have
I do.
Sweating it out the whole freaking...
I have it being a sweat fest. And guys, Toronto beat us in the regular season. We fared well at the end of the year against them at the stadium, and that's a good thing, right? It is. But Toronto was beating us for a reason. It wasn't just because the Yankees were sleepwalking. It wasn't that. Toronto does something that puts pressure on the Yankees and really forces them to score with runners in scoring position, and they really haven't done that. They've scored runs this year, right, Jake? And your dad has brought it up. Are all runs the same? No, they're not. They're not the same. Do you have the ability to scramble and come through in a situation where you really need to score, right? When you really need to tie a game or you need that big hit? Are the Yankees the exact offense that you would want? Now, I see Max Fried pitching well in Game 2. I think Savage is going to dominate in a short stint. I'm talking 5 innings. They've got a solid bullpen over there. They are rested from having won the division. They were waiting around. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game for those of you that are taking the under. I would suggest it. I think this is going to be a 3-2, some low-scoring game, 2-2 going into the 5th or 6th inning, where both teams are going to be taking at-bats in key moments where you say, this is going to be the game right here if they can find a way to come through. And they're at home. They've been great all year at home, but I expect the Yankees to punch at the home. I expect the Yankees to punch back at Yankee Stadium. And I expect Max Fried to pitch that Game 5 on the road and win that Game 5 because home field matters a ton in Games 1 and 2, 3 and 4, but there is nothing quite like that game Game 7 situation, winner take all. Home field really can help you out, but it also can put a lot of pressure on the home team as well, because you can see the pressure that a lot of people feel. I mean, the angst you feel when Cam Schlittler's on the mound in that winner take all situation. It's not always comfortable for the people in the stadium. So I see the Yankees winning Game 5 on the road. That'll be my prediction for the series.
Yeah, then we got Bill. Thank you for the super chat. Bill is saying you are reading J-Dom's stats and splitters. They include the left side. He isn't good from the right side. Question starting him from his weaker side. That's true, actually. That's a really good point.
Yeah, because they're going to be skewed in a negative fashion that we won't see them.
I would still say play him. I mean, Jason, I'm one of those people that just believe Jason Dominguez should hit lefty. Obviously, he won't be doing that. But, yeah, I mean, I'd still play him. I think...
No, but doesn't this make his numbers better? Because I'm saying they're worse because he's horrible from the right side. And when we mention, what are Jason Dominguez's stats? Could you bring those up again against splitters?
Yeah, so against splitters, Dominguez... That's Jazz.
And it's not that he's only going to see splitters tomorrow, but it is the out pitch of choice for tomorrow's starter. So I think that does matter.
Where the hell's Jason Dominguez? I just looked at it. Goodness gracious. Okay.
Because, Jake, do you follow where I'm going with this? Because if Jason Dominguez takes at bats right-handed, he's not good against any pitches as a right-handed hitter. He's just not a good hitter right-handed. He's trying to improve, but that's not good.
I mean, he's
lefty,
not like great. Like, let's be honest here. He's not great against splitters. He's just better than what everyone else is, except for, I think Jazz is hitting 280, and then Ben Rice is hitting over 300.
Right, but he's seen splitters right-handed as well, and those are the at-bats he essentially gives away. So, really, he's making his numbers worse in a side of the plate he's not going to take.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 250 batting average.
No, so he's going to only be hitting lefty in the play because he's not going to be hitting against lefties.
Yeah, oh yeah. Okay.
So you can throw away all those negative stats.
The super chat had me questioning what I already know. And to your point, he doesn't have to hit righty. And
right, so that 0 for 6 against splitters, then throw it away.
When he does, it's like, okay, yeah, so he's probably not a 250 hitter against splitters. He's probably more like a 280 hitter against splitters.
Right. It's really better, and you can throw away. And if I know people say, well, those at-bats count. That's true. But in the playoffs, he's going to be taking at-bats against right-handed pitching. Jason Dominguez is not going to play against lefties.
Oh, my
He's just
God.
not.
Detroit and Seattle are going to extra innings.
Could you imagine if they did ghost runners?
That'd be so stupid.
It would be the dumbest thing.
Oh,
ever.
So yeah, I appreciate this super chat. And it made me think, made me also kind of go off the beaten path because I was like, wait a minute. Yesavage is a righty, so it's like, what?
Yeah,
the
he's
hell?
a righty.
Yeah, but no, it works. The super chat works out in a way that I wasn't expecting it to, as you brought up. But I wanted to highlight this. Where is it?
And guys, Grish
right
is.
here.
I agree. Grish will not be. I said it. I said this 2 months ago. Trent Grisham will not be re-signed. He simply will not be. Right? You have Spencer Jones. He's not. He's
gonna have a key hit. Maybe a key home run in this series. Yep. I have no doubt about it. In this run, in the postseason run, he is gonna be huge in a spot. But you know who I would actually lead off right now?
Let me take a look.
I bet you can't guess. Or you can, because I just gave it away by saying you can't.
Are you going to say Anthony Volpe?
I am. I think Anthony Volpe should lead off.
I know you way too well.
I think Anthony Volpe should lead off. I know it sounds crazy, but playoff Anthony Volpe is a different animal.
So you would buy into, because mind you, Volpe is hitting 8th. So he is, I think everyone agrees, we all know, hitting 8th in the postseason is very different than leading off. That said, you can hide at the 8th spot where you can I'll get my hits when I get them. I'm going to come up in random spots. But with leadoff, you have a responsibility. You need to see pitches. You're expected to deliver. You're at the top of the lineup. It's an interesting choice. I mean, that's really buying into Volpe. I personally wouldn't do it. I like him just hidden in the bottom of the lineup. Man, what would I do with the leadoff spot? That's tough.
That's the problem is right now it's like
there's not really anyone doing damage that we would possibly put up there.
And that's my thing is I just need somebody to come up and work counts. I mean, he's not walking, but he is working counts and he is making contact and, he's got speed. Now, here's my argument against what I just said. Mm-hmm. When he leads off the inning this year, he's hitting 173 and he has a 581 OPS. So, I mean, he hasn't been great leading off innings. He hasn't.
Well, he's actually just not a good baseball player until October. So it's just so hard to look at numbers. It's so hard to look at Volpe's numbers.
Dude is one of those dudes where you just take the splits and you...
Oh my God! How did you have this on deck? How can you look at the numbers? If you look at Anthony Volpe's regular season stats,
yes.
Hitting leadoff, hitting ninth, eighth, seventh, sixth, anywhere you choose, I don't care where you put him. He was a bad baseball player in 2025. As soon as we snapped on for the wild card, and everyone's like, "Well, these games are finally important. Let's see what these Yankees do." Volpe's like, "I'm ready to go." What? How am I supposed to predict that? Well, I mean, that's the beauty of the sport, but also, am I supposed to give you a promotion when you were just buns all year and then it got important and you're just good now? Am I supposed to put you in a role where I have to trust you? Because Volpe also, another reason that they may say, hey, let's just start sliding him up the lineup, is that he could say, well, I was excellent in 2024 in the postseason. I hit almost 300. So when you look around and say, well, what's Jazz done for you in October, right? This is year 2 of Jazz in October. Jazz is hitting 250, right? You can look at what's
okay.
Right. You can look at Ben Rice and be like, okay, well, he's hitting 4th. He's hitting 182. What are all these guys doing for you in the important games? They're better than me in the regular season. I'll give you that. But when you really need to score and get hits and drive runners in, Anthony Volpe's done his job. So I still wouldn't do it, but I see what you're tracking towards because, I mean, he's hitting 333. His ops is almost 1,000. So credit to Volpe, man. He's getting the job done.
I have it. We're going to go with Ryan McMahon.
Oh. I don't think there is a good name, so really it's not going to do you any justice saying a name.
He's not going to lead off, but
no.
He is hitting 286. He has a 375 on base, and I have the leadoff regular season numbers here. He's hitting 265 with a 340 on base and an 833 OPS. He also has 7 home runs when leading off an inning, which is bizarre.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Ryan McMahon. Screw it. Give me Ryan McMahon, Rymac at the top of the order. Let's do it. Because I'll tell you right now, okay? Ryan McMahon, I don't care how much money they're paying him right now. If he is going to play defense the way he is, if he's going to hit in the postseason the way he is, I don't give 2 shits. Because the reality is this. Ryan McMahon has seen more pitches and has actually worked his on-base percentage up there, close to 400.
Yeah, he's taking good at-bats.
While the leadoff hitter, Grisham, is swinging at the first pitch not once, but 2 at-bats in a row.
I think the best
ever.
solution is probably to just say, Trent Grisham, you've been good all year. How about I just sit you down and say, hey, stop taking these type of at-bats. Do more of... Remember that chase rate we talked about that was 100th percentile? 100th percentile? Yeah. We need you to do what you did for what would be now 165 games. So I need that version of Trent Grisham. I think that's what I would do. There's not going to be a sexy selection for leadoff. There's just not. A lot of the guys who are good this year, they're just not performing. What's up?
Ryan McMahon doesn't have good numbers when he swings to the first pitch. Anthony Volpe has crazy numbers when he swings to the first pitch. I mean, the dude it literally looks like what Anthony Volpe was supposed to be when he swings at the first pitch. But the point being is that he's not going to swing at the first pitch, most likely. He's going to take pitches. And right now, what the Yankees need, really, let's be honest here, what the Yankees need is a guy that can set the table early on, work the counts. What happened today can never happen again. Okay, you can't have Gausman go through 6 innings and literally have 60 pitches. That is absurd.
It's not a winning solution against any rotation. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
Mark, our final super chat with the 2 says, people always get pissed. Conley, I don't care. Pitched a clean inning today. Miss him. Yeah, he pitched a clean inning today for Detroit. Good for him, man. Good for him.
Yeah.
Pitched an inning, struck out somebody, no walks. He actually did his job. So, yeah, I mean,
Seattle's going to the bottom of the 10th.
Yeah, I still think Seattle might be the team in the championship series. I think I had them in the World Series. But
you did. I think it's Yankees, Mariners. Mariners thinking they're going to get revenge, but they're not.
Well, you saw Wu was not on the division series roster with a pec issue. So
if Detroit wins this game, see, like, that's the thing. Like, I feel like if the road team wins in a 5-game series to start, that's when it's more damning.
Oh,
if
definitely.
The Yankees won today, I'd be like, oh my god, they could sweep.
Because now, but you have a guarantee. Screwed. Technically speaking, if you play on the road, like you're the Yankees here and you play game 1 and the Yankees win this game and they win and they go into game 2, you pretty much know if you win game 2, the series is essentially over. Yeah. You have 2 games to go close out the series. That's it. It's a lot. Is it impossible? No. Our organization could tell you exactly otherwise. But when you're talking about the odds, you're trying to put the odds more in your favor. When you win game 1 on the road, Detroit wins this game, to your point. Yeah, Seattle's not feeling very good. No. Because now Wu's not a part of this series. Detroit goes back to Detroit, and they know even if we lose game 2.
Not pitching today, so.
Yeah, it's a major problem for Seattle if they lose this game. I still think Seattle finds a way to pull it out, but I think they're far and away the better team. But we'll see what happens. And Mark says, side note. I've never seen a super chat. Side note. Thank you for the 2. First time facing Jays in the playoffs equals nuts. The Yankees usually have success against the AL Central. Somebody brought up that number. They thought we were naive to those numbers. But the Yankees usually beat up on teams in the AL Central. Not the case right now. We're running into teams in our division, and we're basically forced to be in our Houston Astros situation where we're running into a team that we really talked about all year. I remember when we were talking about the Orioles in the playoffs, and we're like, we're going to run into this team, and we never did. So we finally have run into our team.
I don't think they won 1 game in the playoffs last year.
Nope.
They got swept. I mean, 2 games sweep, which is also dumb. Hate the wild card. It's so stupid. But I just feel like winning that first game as a road team, now you've guaranteed that it's going to be a fair series. You've guaranteed a game 4, which means both teams will have 2 games at home.
Yep. So Hal Steinbrenner is getting the chicken buckets warmed up.
Chicken buckets.
Get them ready. I'm sure he's probably looking at it and saying, please, for the love of God, go out there. Yeah, I mean, go out there and win game 2.
And the garlic, what is it? The garlic Parmesan fries.
Those are always oily.
Dude, I know.
They've never been good, ever.
I got them, and I was like, okay, some of them were really good, and then some of them were just, like, chewy. Like I'm talking, like, the chewy granola bar chewy. Like, what the hell's going on here? My first 3 fries in that basket are delicious. Yeah.
Then by the end, I'm nauseous and sick, and I've got to walk around the concourse.
And this dude's just like, he's going to town with the oil, and you're like, what did I pay for?
It's absolutely ridiculous.
So bad.
Angel, thank you for the super. See some orange in the super chat. Thank you for the 20.
Thank you.
Says,
Angel.
even though I'm not a Yankees fan, I love your podcast. Welcome in. Interesting, man. I love your podcast. But Jake, 2 weeks ago, you said the Yanks are the team to beat. But in the postseason, the Yanks under Boone are 6-0 with home field advantage. When they don't, 1-6. That's a factor. It is. All series are different. So I think when you look at these numbers, you're like, all right, well, we're on the road, we're screwed. That's one way you could look at it. But you also could say, hey, how do teams fare when they lose the first game of a 3-game set in the wild card? And Jake, how many teams was it out of 20 attempts that won the series? Do you remember what the number was?
It was 2.
2 teams out of 20 teams.
Which they're not even counting, by the way. They're just like, yeah, those teams don't exist. That happened before the new format.
Right. 2 teams. And if you ask a lot of people, they'll tell you it's never happened based on the new format. Okay, never. Well, the Yankees accomplished the never. So, Angel, this is a good point. It shows you that every game you win, you're just creating more advantages. That's the obvious. The Yankees need to find a way to win game 2. They have to, and they're going to have to prove that they can go win as a road team. Have to do it sooner rather than later. They're either going to have to win tomorrow, or they're going to have to go out there and win on a road game 5. Pick your poison.
I'm telling you right now, Detroit and Seattle are going to beat the shit out of each other and be so exhausted for the ALCS. Whoever wins this is going to the World Series.
It's going to be Hacksaw Ridge, their trainer, by the time they get there.
They're just carrying bodies left and right. Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that Detroit would give them a good series because, I mean, I really thought pretty low of Detroit.
Do you remember that time where I actually highlighted like 4 different non-super chats?
Well, do you think that AA just joined the show? That's a possibility.
That's possible. So, yes.
I'm trying to be fair. Technically, AA could have just joined in about 4 minutes ago and maybe missed obviously all the chats that we pulled up. But, you know, AA, we appreciate you being here.
Yeah, appreciate you.
But you can scroll to the beginning of the show where we do put up all chats. Obviously, we have to give a priority to our paying customers, so we really appreciate all of those supporters. But, yeah, welcome in, AA.
11 innings, baby. Let's go. I want to see this go to 20.
Very true.
It has nothing to do, right? Has nothing to do with the Yankees. It's only game 1. Just give me 20 innings. Never forget the Astros Cardinals 18-inning game that started when I was in high school. It started when first period started or whatever. No, it was like 4th period, right? And obviously there were 9 periods, so I would literally go to the YMCA afterwards, play basketball with my friends, go to Buffalo Wild Wings. The game was still on, and I'm like, what on earth is happening? It was the dumbest thing ever, dude. Do you remember that game? It was 18 innings.
I feel like I do. There was also a 20-inning game.
There was.
I think it was Texas and Texas and
right.
Baltimore? I couldn't remember what team it was. I just can't remember.
18-inning Cardinals-Astros game.
There was also an Atlanta game. You remember where it was blown, that call where I think it was it Lugo who slid into home plate and he was out by just a damn country mile and they called him safe?
That was so stupid.
It was the worst
Julio
call
Lugo,
ever.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that was the worst call in baseball history. Just the call, not the circumstances, but the call itself, it could not have been worse. So,
wait, there was an 18-inning NLDS game.
Was there?
Yeah, the Astros played in it. The Astros also played an 18-inning ALDS. They played in 2 18-inning. They played in an ALDS and an NLDS 18-inning game. What on earth is this team?
Do they turn off the concessions in these extra inning games in the playoffs?
Oh, man, that's a real good question.
Could you imagine Hal
Has
Steinbrenner?
Anybody been at one of those type of games?
Hal Steinbrenner would sell out. There would not be a chicken tender left to sell. He would sell every last calorie in that stadium.
And, you have to stay if the game keeps going.
Right. You could just starve to death, all those fans. Can you imagine? Because they do stop selling alcohol by, the 7th inning in a regular day.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, no, it was the Cardinals-Astros, May 27th. And, wait, why is it saying 1983? See, this is why I just don't care about AI, because it sucks.
I literally have my daughter banging on the door on the outside going, Dad.
That's so cute.
Ridiculous. But do we want to get into predictions for tomorrow? Because I want to get to predict the game. Because I
meant to point that out.
The seed oils. Ridiculous.
Oh man, Angel, we really appreciate that. Super, that was dope. Well, because we were talking about chicken buckets, and there's no
and the
way those
oil
are
fries and the garlic fries. You can't avoid the seed oils with
Brother,
the ballpark
why
food.
are you literally drizzling oil all over my freaking fries, bro? Why? I'm watching this guy go to town, and I'm like, I'm regretting this decision. And I just look, and it's exactly what you said. Fries are sopping wet. Plus, they were part of that chicken bucket. Yeah, it was something.
Yeah. Final thing. I see Joe in the live chat says, Joe says this postseason Judge is 6 for 14. I mean, that's good. He needs to be better with runners in scoring position, but not too bad this year so far. Yeah, he is paid what he's paid to be good with runners in scoring position. So I'm happy he's getting his hits. He's hitting 400. That's awesome. But with runners in scoring position, we're not going to win this series unless he or Stanton decide that they're going to wake up. And Stanton has been here in reliable 90% of the time that we play in the postseason, if not 100. So I think the least we can do if I'm Judge is it's your turn.
He's not letting it go.
Oh, the canola oil.
That's so funny. All right. Yeah. So Gary, since he sucks, didn't do all of the voicemails on Thursday when I was at SoFi Stadium. So
yeah, I got a ton of messages about it. They're like, "Where the hell were the voicemails?"
it was like,
I was like,
oh,
it was
man.
a great time to have the voicemails, but yeah, there was a lot on my plate doing the show solo. Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just messing with Gary, obviously, but you guys know that. Just in case somebody that don't wants to tell Gary that he sucks. It's not really. You got to do the typing thing too now when you're.
I do see that we don't have a scroll. Oh, what happened to it? No, we do have a scroll leading off
this
here.
isn't a scroll. We
No,
have scrolls.
the one before it looked short, so I thought that was the one, but
no, you missed out on it.
no, that was the one I missed. See that? There you go. I could have went to the short one, but who's leading off for us?
Leading off is Vulnera Medicus.
Okay. See some
Hey
pitches.
guys, it's Ricky. It's
Okay,
after
it's
the second inning. I don't know what Boone's doing, but just run with Luis. What, he gives up 2 hard hits to one of the best first basemen in the league? What are we doing? I get that we have a day off in 2 days, but doesn't mean that we didn't lose. Like, he's going to burn our bullpen today, and honestly, we're going to be fucked for. Watch, okay. It's going to be close until the end of the game. We're going to burn Bender, Williams, all of our good relievers. And it's just, that's how the game's going to flow. I might give you guys another call after this is done.
You
but
did not.
I'm not joking.
It's because
Boone's
Blackburn
trying
pitched.
to be either a good manager like how Alex Cora is, and pulling his, or like one that, like, I don't know why are we pulling Luis? God, he gives up 2 good hits. Like, oh my God, Ben Rice just struck out. I'll give you guys an update. I don't know why Ben Rice. I love Ben Rice. I don't know why he's playing over Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt has good stats against Gossman. I
love our viewers.
all right. I'll talk to you guys later.
They literally always they always know career numbers. If you ask anybody out there, like, just go up to some random dude at a bar, okay? Not every Yankee fan is gonna know that. Like,
No,
if you're
the
just
average,
like,
no, the average doesn't. But
yeah, but
obviously our
viewers,
audience does.
It's not just us, because we didn't. Keep in mind, 5 guys for life. We didn't.
Yep.
We didn't go live yesterday, right? So it wasn't like we were telling people ahead of time. Our viewers go and do the thing. Yes, I love the beef tallow, so yes, I agree. But anyway, point being, totally love it. Appreciate the super. Yeah, I don't know if you heard Ricky said after the second inning that was recorded. So now we have Kyle Malay.
Hey guys, Kyle Malay here.
Buzz Lightyear.
What the hell was Boone thinking bringing Weaver in a 2-1 game? He's
We don't
not
know.
the Weaver from last year. Like, didn't you learn from game 1 of the Boston series? I guess not. Well, Volpe just struck out. I don't know why I watched the rest of this game. Like, why the fuck
It's
did
time
I
for a
watch
buzz.
the rest of this game? Like, 10-1, are you kidding me in a postseason game? Yankees, you should be ashamed of yourselves. I was saying this morning to myself, today was going to be a loss anyways because I didn't trust Teal. And I was right. And the Yankees really didn't show up either. But we got our 3 best pitchers coming up in the next 3 games. We need to at least win tomorrow, or else even if we lose tomorrow and then we win 2 in New York, I don't feel good about coming back to Canada, to the Toronto Stadium. And so, yeah, we need to win tomorrow and then win 2 in New York, because if we lose tomorrow, I think we're done. But let's all have a good night. Hopefully the Yankees can win tomorrow and fire Boone. Like, that was the stupidest decision in the game. Like, I knew as soon as Weaver came in, I'm like, we're done. I mean, we didn't score anymore anyways, but oh well. Let's all have a good night, and hopefully the Yankees can win one tomorrow. Good night.
Yeah, Kyle, thank you for the voicemail. Tallow unloaded. The difference of the game, the Toronto Blue Jays were 5 for 10 with runners in scoring position. The Yankees were 1 for 7. The end.
Yep.
You lose.
Yeah, no, that's exact Panera Bread unloaded. I love you guys. Never change. Yeah, I love Kyle's supers. I love
Panera Bread is the biggest waste of money ever. I got a chicken noodle soup from there one time. There was enough chicken. I think I lost weight eating it. I kid you not, there was 16 calories worth of chicken just spread over the top of it.
16 calories? Do you realize what 16 calories of chicken would be?
Yeah, you can basically get 16 calories just swallowing air. It was a joke. Yeah, Panera Bread, I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all.
So, no Panera Bread sponsorship. Writing that down on my hand.
No, Panera Bread can kiss my behind. They give you no food for your dollar. It's not going to happen. Panda Express, in my opinion, best bang for your buck.
They had this charged lemonade that, as you know, because I'm caffeine intolerant, would actually turn my heart into an explosion.
That's fair.
And
also true.
It wasn't good for public consumption. I don't know if anybody ever had the charged lemonade. Here was the thing, real quick. It was free refills. So,
oh wow,
people were getting like ridiculous amounts of caffeine and just going crazy. And I'm just thinking, like, man, yeah, my heart would turn into a landmine.
Yeah, you would not survive.
Nope. Anyway.
That outing at all. But yeah, but who's next on the voicemails? How many we got, by the way?
We got 2 more. B-Rye.
2 more. B-Rye, let it fly.
Well, that game was trash.
Oh, Tiger scored.
Aaron Judge is Mr. May. Keeps letting us down in big spots. The past 2 games, Ben Rice has been certified grade A monkey piss. Luke Weaver has an ERA of infinity. I don't really have any positives.
I don't.
Terrible game. I guess I have one. The ball pitched good for 2 innings. That was a positive. Nice to see.
That is a positive.
Hopefully they get a bounce back game tomorrow. Max will hopefully steps it up. We shall see. That was pretty lousy. No skull today, Gary. Have a good one, guys.
No J-Dom for life?
Wait, what do you say at the end there? No what? For
No
me?
school today, Gary.
No school?
I don't know.
Why no school?
I don't know. Or maybe no
30.
school.
I'm 30. Huh.
I think it was just
Because if it's no school, I mean, I've been Carlos. I appreciate it. Thank you appreciate it. But I mean, I'm 31. I haven't been in school for a decade now, so I'm not sure.
J-Dom for life. I love that.
J-Dom for life. Yeah.
All right.
So who's but thank you for the voicemail. We appreciate it.
Yes, we appreciate it. I honestly love I feel bad, but I also feel the same way, so I feel like I'm justified. I love the voicemails where like, well, that sucked. Or like, oh, well, that nothing about that was good, or that was trash.
Yeah, I am an unk, as they call it. Jake's getting close, but
Hey
when
guys,
you're in
I'll
your
wager
30s, you're an unk.
Gosman versus Heel. That was a loss in my books from the start. Unless we really played well, it was going to be a tough matchup. I was more relying on winning game 2 with Fried on the mound. So that I'm not worried about. What I'm worried about is Judge and his hitting. And the bases loaded strikeout, it feels like he's really trying to force it. He hasn't had the power. He hit the double today, but let's be honest, that was more of his speed game to second than a true power double. So once those power hits start coming, hopefully, things will balance out. Vladdy finally found his groove today, I guess. That double play was insane by him. That changed momentum like crazy. But the one thing I really just want to say real quick is if we see Weaver again at all this series, then I don't even care if we win this series. Boone should not be a manager. I don't know if you saw the post-game interview. I'm sure you guys probably have. He basically said himself that he's not there. He doesn't have his shit. And he is just not finding it. So, yeah, let's not see him anymore. If Boone puts him in, he's straight up just trolling unless we're up by 13 runs or something. Anyway, see ya.
Yeah, appreciate the voicemail. Completely agree. Your job to manage is to figure out who would be good in what spot. Pitching Luke Weaver in any scenario where you need anything good to happen is tomfoolery. Complete nonsense. And, hopefully he only pitches in garbage time. And Doval, we do have some positive here. Doval is bouncing in the right direction. Would I just throw him into an 8th inning of a tie game? No. But at least we've got somebody building on something in our bullpen. Because I would agree, our bullpen is a problem. And even if we win this series, you're talking about a championship series with either the Tigers or the Mariners. What, you're going to be pitching Weaver in high-stakes situations while we squeak by? Okay, that's really good for us, and Yankees Unloaded lives on, right? But also, that tells you the story that Luke Weaver is going to be on a mound in a championship series, in a World Series, if they could ever get there. How can you win the World Series with somebody who hasn't recorded an out the entire run?
Exactly.
You can't survive each round, and you're just going to run out of time eventually.
Yeah, and Joe is not happy about Weaver. Weaver's hamstring is still bothering him. He came back way too soon from his IL stint. I had to read it in all caps. So
I did say that right away when he came back.
Yeah.
To be fair, Grisham also came back early from his hamstring injury.
And Mark had a very similar from a leg break,
which is absurd.
I know.
Grisham was visibly limping, and we said this seems like a overcompensation issue. He could actually hurt the other side of his body, or he just could re-aggravate the injury. We were worried because Grisham was playing well. Right. So there are situations where the Yankees played players through injury and it worked out. And there's situations where the Yankees said, this guy's banged up, he's going to be out till this date. And they came back 3 weeks early, and that dude was horrible since then. Weaver is in that he's in that box where he had an injury. He was okay before that. He is dismal after that. So, Joe, you got a point.
Yeah, so 3 things I want to get to. Yankees 2, Jake, that Pennywise mask is scary AF.
I saw that chat.
Love that.
Yeah.
Literally followed it up by that Penny mask prob move in the middle of the night. See, those things don't scare me. I know people were like, how do you do anything with Michael Myers, 2 Michael Myers behind your... I don't care. That stuff does not scare me. I love it personally, but appreciate it. No scroll. I see that comment. That's hilarious. There was another... Okay, this one, Joe. Williams 7th, Doval 8th, Bednar 9th. I'll go Williams 8th. But I actually wanted to bring this last point up, and then we'll end it. I believe Doval should be promoted after tonight. I think Doval should be promoted, and he should take over Luke Weaver's 7th inning role.
Because technically, the only other option plausible is Cruz. Now, Cruz can miss bats. Cruz has no control whatsoever, which is really the same problem that you could have with Doval, is that they'll walk the house.
But his issues, right? And hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
Doval's issues are when he's wild, he's just missing the strike zone.
Yeah.
Cruz's issues are it's going to the backstop. that's a much different ball game. And so
and he's also throwing splitters.
Yeah, so it's
90% of the time. So
if you're wild and you're missing, I mean, now my catcher has to be blocking. If he's not blocking, well, you're getting free bases left and right. So, yeah, I personally tonight really showed me that Doval is ready to take another step. I'm not saying to take the next step, but let's not forget he's a very successful pitcher in this league. Say what you will, he, started struggling, whatever. He's successful. I believe he should be the 7th inning guy, and Williams should be the 8th, and Bednar should be the 9th.
It's fair. Same reason Williams is in the spot he's in now. We continue to put him out there in spots like this because of what he did in Milwaukee, and eventually he's somewhat serviceable where we can actually put him in a mound. And Alex, he did tell me in privately that he had a day pass at Disneyland.
Oh, that's
Alex
sick.
with the 2 says got home from.
Stayed.
Yeah, he did. I'm kidding. He didn't go to Disneyland. But Alex with the 2 says got home from LA today. Sick hair, Gary. Appreciate it. It's been a long time coming for the haircut. We are 0-1 since I got the cut. Says fire baboon.
Yeah, I saw Alex. He made an awesome roundtable graphic for our show that we do, the NFC West roundtable, and that was the event. He was at the event. He was at the Rams game. Alex is the man, so really appreciate him, and it was nice to see him in person. And man, I'll tell you right now, that event was special. It was just really cool. We had like 50 people show up. I can't wait to do something like that for Yankees Unloaded. It is going to be absolutely insane. And I know we can, and I know you guys are going to want to, so we're definitely going to do that. Yankees too. Jake works with my man Richie. Yeah, shout out to Richie Malura. He is actually the one that set up the entire thing. I mean, the Airbnb, just, paid for most of it. Literally all I had to do was buy my flight. So it was really cool. Richie and the gang were great. And like I said, I literally cannot wait for Yankees Unloaded and what we're going to be doing with these events, whether we're talking spring training or, at the Audi Club in New York. I mean, it's going to be fun because just being around like people like that. I've done tailgates before. That event was really cool. We did like a live show. It was so cool, dude. Like, I'm telling you, we're going to have a blast doing it. I already know it's in the future, so I can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be really cool. And Mark, final thoughts here. Mark, a member of ours, says, any chance Hill can be the 7th inning guy? I would say no. I think he's a specialist at lefty on lefty.
I'll want him to come in any time. I don't really want to delegate him to an inning,
I'm probably going to look at him and say, okay, maybe Luke's gets in there. I need this at bat, 3rd and 2nd, 1 out. I need weak contact. Let me spin him over here, right? I think he's more of somebody that we need to pick our spot. That spot last year was against Freddie Freeman, right? It just was. And I think that that's the beauty in someone like this. He knows what his job is, to go out there and acquire weak contact, take advantage lefty on lefty. And I think pitching him in a clean inning all the time just sets you up with power bats. And we've seen, I know they talk about the weak contact, we've seen some piss missiles off right-handed bats this year that have really lost the Yankees some games. So I don't want to just forget about what he did during the summer. Tim Hill has been good. He hasn't been a huge problem for the Yankees, I mean, clearly. But would I trust him with the 7th inning role? No. I don't really trust anybody who could potentially pitch the 7th inning. I don't trust Doval. But I think Doval, I think you're onto something. He's worth trying over the other guys currently in the job.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. So
Detroit won? No way.
Damn. Seattle's in deep shit then.
Wow.
It's like I said, man, if the Yankees won today, it's a completely different. It's not just the Yankees won. It's, wow, the Yankees have control of the series now. Our home field advantage is toast. The Tigers just nullified Seattle's home field advantage, and they did it without Skubal.
Yeah, and guys, we would rather play Detroit, right? You're going to get Skubal. Their rotation, you wouldn't have known it if you watched the Yankees and Detroit series because we played terrible. At home, by the way. We missed Skubal and Casey Mize. Like, they literally just had their way with the Yankees, and we're just like, what the hell are we doing?
Detroit's winning tomorrow, Gary. They have Skubal on the mound.
I mean, they definitely have the advantage.
And then they
so,
literally go to
Wow.
Detroit to host the game in game 3, and they would have 2 wins. So it would be like I don't know, man. I have a really bad feeling if you're a Seattle fan. Like, that's not good. Also, dude, how about Milwaukee today? They looked as advertised. They looked like, if not,
they look like the best team in base. They look like the best team in the league.
I mean,
I know a lot of people still
definitely
think like the Dodgers are just going to figure it out and just not die like a cockroach, and they'd be right.
Well,
but
Phillies in deep shit too. This is why
They
it's
are.
like you get the Dodgers and Phillies in an NLDS, which feels weird. That just feels
you
like
see
an
Sasaki
NLCS.
close today, by the way.
I did. I brought it up earlier.
That is
It's
super
that,
cool.
The young pitcher craze that this league's going through.
Yeah. Well, I mean, good for all these teams winning their games. The Yankees have to find a way to win game 2. Must win. It is. And the series isn't over just because you go lose game 2, but it changes the entire nature of what we're looking at. We can go back to the stadium with more than enough momentum. It's what needs to happen. And Jordan N with the $2.79 super chat. So thank you, Jordan. We really appreciate that. It says Yankees Bullpen hurting after that spanking. I think it did get away from us. We went to some low leverage guys. They were trying, so I'm not going to act like they weren't.
Yeah.
But Weaver is not in that upper echelon circle of trust. A lot of the guys who pitched today, they're just not. I think the Yankees said, let's keep this game close, see if our offense can come through. We didn't, and their offense did. Guys, Kirk hit 2 home runs. Vladdy Jr. hit that home run in the first inning. Their offense separated themselves, and then we just kind of let go of the rope.
Yeah. By the way, someone was saying in the comment section, I guess Raleigh let a ball get by him.
Yeah, that scored eventually. That
So
eventually
that's-
scored later in the inning. So, well, I mean, we were told he's one of the game's best defensive catchers. It's not just about the home runs, and obviously that didn't materialize in the postseason. So,
Yeah.
obviously, best of luck to all these teams. But Jake, what did we say earlier? You had something in mind. Was it something about Luke Weaver?
Yes, his ERA plus we call Kyle Malay Buzz Lightyear, so I figured to infinity and beyond was the perfect comment to leave if you got to this point. So, if you got to this point in the live stream, the video after the fact, leave a comment to infinity and beyond.
Drop that in the comment section, and before you go, the most important thing to me, make sure you don't leave before you like this video.